Hello, good evening, welcome to another week of Easy 8's Online Painting Club. My name's Danny. For the next 2 hours I'm going to be hopefully keeping you guys company and motivated to paint your miniatures and get some colour on your unpainted plastic. So close to getting it right first go. It's a completely unscripted show. It's a live stream. It's exactly what it's about. It's not a tutorial show or anything like that. It's just a painting club where you can come along online, make some friends, join in with some old friends, whatever it is, talk about your successes, your victories, maybe struggle, maybe talk about some of the struggles you've been having. I've been struggling with this miniature and we're going to talk about that in just a minute. But either way, if you're painting something this evening, I'd love to know about it. So come and tell me all about it, either over there in the live chat or wherever it appears on your screen. Or you could talk about it later on if you want to in the comment section. Because every time that you interact with the video, be it a thumbs up, be it a subscribe or a comment or anything like that, it improves the algorithm. All hail the algorithm. And on that note, I'm just going to give you a second just to go and give this video a thumbs up because it would really help me out if you wouldn't mind. So I'm just going to take a sip of my water. I've had too much tea today. Going to get rid of the obligatory cat hair in there. Go on, you give it a thumbs up. You know where the button is. It would make my day if you wouldn't mind. Thanks very much. And also, if you do like the show, like what we do here, or just kind of enjoy the company, or think it could be better, and you're so inclined, please give us a subscribe, because that's how the community grows. Every time you push the subscribe button, or we get a new subscriber, don't unsubscribe to subscribe, the community gets bigger, and that's what we want to do. We want to make a really cool show for you here to bring everyone together, talk about all the cool stuff that we do, the love of the hobby that we all share in, hopefully. And yeah, if you run your own business or provide a service, or you know someone that does something similar, or have just found something really cool, come and tell everybody about it, because that's what the show's about. I don't do sponsorships or anything like that. I do it all for free. It's just a hobby. And if you want to talk about something really cool that you found or that you do or provide, etc., etc., come and tell everybody about it, because that's what I'm going to be doing a little bit later on today. There's a few people that are over in the live chat commenting already. Stuff that I want to talk about with you, because they do some really cool stuff. And it's been a little while since I've really kind of shouted anybody out. It's time we did that. So, yeah. If you're working on something this evening, tell me all about it. I genuinely want to know. I am actually genuinely inspired by all the stuff that you guys do. And it's just lovely to make sure that we have this 2 hours at the end of a week, right? Even though I'm not working at the moment, but I'm sure a lot of you guys are. Even if you're not, we've got busy lives. To kind of carve out a couple of hours, a little bit of time to do the thing that we like to do. That's paint miniatures and stuff, right? So yeah, if you're doing something this evening, come and tell me all about it, because I'd love to know who have we got in the live chat today. I know that there's going to be comments in there that I'm like a minute or two late or whatever. It's my jam. It's what I do. I'm not even going to apologise this week. We've got Table of Horrors. That's Shiv from Table of Horrors. Hi Shiv, how you doing, pal? We've got Kindred Lupus, who joined us for the first time last week. Thanks for coming along again, Kindred Lupus. Nice to see you again there. We got Crumbs. Evening, my fellow paint friends. Hello, Steve. We've also got Stafford. Stafford is apparently outside in this lovely weather, because if you're in the UK, or even where I am in the UK, it's been really cold. Whereas I've been told in the army by some of my army friends, gibbers is the word that we use. Gibbers. Yeah. There's some other words to go into that to make it even more colder, but gibbers, that's the word that they use. So it's been gibbers today. Who else have we got going on in here? There's some more. I've seen them hiding away in there. There's Jeff. That's my dad over at Purple Lion Creations. More on that a little bit later on. Hi, Dad. I've got Brethren Tabletop Wargaming. Evening all. Hi, guys. Thanks for coming along. Hi, Brethren. Haven't seen you in the live chat for a little while, and if you have been in there, I'm so sorry. I should have said hello. Should have noticed that you're all in there. I hope you're all doing well. We've also got Christulus. Oh, the live chat goes on. Done it. Oh dear, hi Christulus, how are you this evening? Loads of people going on in here. Tea sounds good. Sipping on a milkshake right now because I'm a grown adult and can do what I want. I love a milkshake and I'm 43. But because I'm 43, I've got a 43-year-old stomach and it just doesn't like milkshake. I love milkshakes. It does not like me. I'm not allowed them. So if you see me out and about and you go, hey, do you want to go for a drink? Don't let me have a milkshake. Just don't do it. It's so bad. We've got Francois, who's also joined us. Hi, Francois. I missed your name there just for a second because it was the same colour as Stafford's, but I see you now. New Eldar. Is there new Eldar? Oh, I missed that release. Tell me all about it. I want to see all your Eldar. I want to talk about Eldar. I like Eldar. Working on the red gobbo tonight, says Shiv. Not not the red gibbers. Yo, Danny, hope you're doing well. Yes, I'm all right, mate. Thank you very much. I'm feeling better. Last week I was having a bit of a cold. I was having a bit of a crisis. I just man flu. It just hit me like a wet fish, and I was just down for about 5 or 6 days, just feeling really pants. A bit sorry for myself. Fortunately, I'm working at the moment, so I was able to just kind of sit at home and do nothing. But then I got housebound. You know what it's like. Anyway, look, we're rambling on, but we're here to do some painting. So do come and tell me about all the painting things that you're doing this evening, because I want to know all about it. I have made leaps and bounds with this miniature. Adrian's joined us as well. So much white. You're painting white as well. Love it. Cool. A McFarlane Blood Angel. Yeah, need to see pictures of that. Put pictures up on Facebook as well, guys, because we're not just here on Facebook. Sorry, YouTube. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Discord. Nearly forgot all the things I always say. What's going on today? I'm out of my game. That's unlike me. To the workbench. For those of you joining us for the first time, it is just like me. I will get everything wrong, despite doing this now for 4 years. Right, so what am I working on? Surprise, surprise, the Screamer Killer. It's just one of those projects that won't go away, and frankly, the technical term, it's doing my head in. The reason it's doing my head in, the reason it's taken so long, is because I've been working on the carapace here, like this wonderful effect. It's really, really good, but I just haven't got it down fast enough. I started to get it quicker. Once I'd kind of worked out what I wanted to do on here, I did it on the legs, on the tail and whatever, and that kind of came quicker. And then like the head took me a whole evening to do a few weeks ago. And then I was doing these arms, and I had to do all the other arms today, actually, because it took me all of last week's show just to do this one arm. Ridiculous. And I was really disappointed with how it looks. I still am not entirely happy with it. I'm disappointed with how long it took me. And I knew that somewhere in the week I'd have to get all the other arms done, because there's no way that we can do another arm, one arm each week, and do that for a month. That would be ridiculous. So I knew I had to get done during the week, and I just didn't find the time. Whilst not working, I find myself extremely busy, and it's weird. Anyway, look, today I managed to find a little bit of time to do the arms. I made them look a little bit better, but they're not my best work. That's okay. It's really okay to not have something your best work, despite this being a really cool beast, a really nice monster. And, you know, I wanted it to look really stupendous. I wanted it to look absolutely awesome, so I put my best effort into it. But I've been learning a lot of new things on it, and it's okay to not have your best work all the time. Like, you're always learning, you're always practicing, you're always doing something. Even when you think you're at the top of your game, you're always developing in some way, and the only way that you get better is just doing it. It's just having a go. Christina says, Danny, we've seen a lot of that awesome Screamer Killer, but what all do you have for Tyranids? Are you going to field an army, or are you just like that model? Yeah, and that's exactly why I'm getting bored of it, man, because like it's the only thing that people think that I've got. Excuse me, I've got hordes of Tyranids, quite literally. Just sat within arm's reach of me here. It's a Trigon. That actually isn't finished, but we won't talk about that. So that's one of my bigger beasties. I really like that model, actually. And as I've been learning and getting better, I think this was the most recent Tyranid I painted. It was quite a while ago, really. But I've progressed so far. Like, I've come such a long way just between the two models, and that's what I mean, like, you're always learning. But I've got loads of Hormagaunts, I've got loads of Termagants, and I kind of did those very differently because well, you're not going to spend as much time as you do on this one, on a 40 Gaunts or whatever. You're just not going to do it, are you? I did do, and it's a project that's still ongoing because, well, reasons. But a load of Gargoyles. That's actually not the completed one. I do have a complete. Somewhere along here I've got a completed one, but yeah, a load of Gargoyles. I just needed to put a little bit of red on the holes on their wings to make them look kind of cool. But yeah, I've got some Gargoyles, I've got some cool flyer bases for them, etc. I've got 42 Gene Stealers that are only halfway painted. So yeah, look, that's what this show's all about. We've all got stuff that's either not painted, half painted, or in various states of uncompletedness, and the whole point of this show is just to find that time, dedicate that time to get some colour on the grey, right? He says, nice! Nice if I could actually get through it. I've actually got in a box somewhere, and if I remember during the intermission, because I never get out of the chair, it's my jam, it's what I do, I will see if I can go find the little box where a lot of my other Tyranids are, because there's a few like zone trips that I've done that have got some really cool bases on them. There's a Broodlord just up there with a Carnifex. The Carnifex is alright. There's a story behind every model, isn't there? But there's a reason why the Carnifex is just alright. But the Broodlord's really good because I did something really cool on it that I practiced for the first time, and it came out amazingly on the first go. And I've been able to recreate it every single time, and it looks really good on my zone trips. So I'll get those out later on. If you're interested, let me know if you want to see them. Yeah. So I know we've been looking at this model for a little while. It's much closer to being completed. And do you know what? Even if I don't complete it tonight, I think we should put it to bed, shouldn't we really? Time to move on when people start commenting about it. So what have I done? I've done all the carapace on it. Look, all those arms, they're all done. All the bits on the backs of the claws, all the arm bits. I'm not happy with it. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But it's done. He's saying, yes, please. I will get them out and show you later on. So I've got to do all the claws. I've got to do the hooves, all the spiky bits, etc. They're all going to be done in the bone colour, like on the Trigon here, but they will be done better because I didn't do them as well as I wanted to, but I can do them better. I've got to do the mouth parts and the eyes, and he's got like these little pipes that I assume are for passing bioplasma because it voms on you. Yeah, so I'll probably do those some colour. Not entirely sure what that's going to look like yet. I've got to do a few of the tendons and whatever. I've got like you can see here like these muscle bits. I'm calling them muscle bits because it's an alien. We don't know what it's like. We don't know what it was actually made of. But these are all these pink bits, and I did this one in a different type of pink. So I just kind of whited that out earlier on. So I'm going to make that pink as well. Going to do all these bits pink, bits under the shoulders pink as well. Like you can see, like there's a groin. I have weak spots, right? I really like that bit. I think that bit looks really cool. Like that, it's fun. And I think that's him done. Then of course gotta go on a base. Now when I bought this, I bought it from Overlord Games. More on Overlord a little bit later on. And by accident we got the bases mixed up, and I didn't know it until much later on. I said to Grant at Overlord, don't worry about it, there's no point in putting one in the post for me, like go live your life, be free. I ordered this one on Etsy, and yeah, so I've got a base to put him on, which is really cool. I thought that I'd have to go and get one for my Redemptor Dreadnought because it's the same size, but I can't find the Redemptor Dreadnought. It's in this pile of stuff that you can't see. Oh my gosh, no. It's behind here somewhere. If you get me 250 subscribers, that sounds like a leap, but it's not for you guys. I will show you the state that the rest of this room is in because it is bonkers. But one day I'm going to tidy it up, so get me those extra subscribers quick, man. Yeah, it's got to have a thing on it. And what I want to do is build the cool thing that I know that I can do on here. And we'll talk about that when we get to there. First things first, though, I just kind of want to do the easy bits on him. So I'm going to do the easy bits, and you can't stop me. First things first, I want to paint all the bits that needs to be whited out for the crimson, because that's what this stain is. So I paint these, all the ivory bits in here. I think the light's a little bit on the right side. Turn that down a little bit. Oh, that's too far. Too far. Too far the other way. I can't get it right. I'm going to leave it for now. Come back to it in a second. All the white bits, the ivory bits, they're painted in Screaming Skull from Citadel. It's a really good paint. It's too bright. Come on. That's a bit better. So yeah, they're all painted the Screaming Skull. The reason I like Screaming Skull is it's not pure white, which is I find a little bit garish. It allows me to kind of see where all the details are, without having to look too hard. But also, it's a really good base to put like washes over to kind of stain the surface. What's the word I'm looking for? Filters. Thank you very much. And that's exactly what that is. That is Carroburg Crimson. Yeah, simply just put over the top of this colour. It's really good. But it's also got a really good pigment, so it means that I only have to do one, maybe two layers. That is one layer over the top of that colour, one coat. It's really good for that. So it's really good for masking over mistakes or kind of just resetting it. And I'm going to use that on all these bits. So, stop dribbling on about it, and let's get on with it. Went too far. Went too far again. Come on. There we go. That's cool. That's better. It's a one button. Push it quick to turn it on or off. Push and hold it to dim it or brighten it. And once it's gone dim, it has to go bright. Then it has to go one way before the other. Not got the easiest controls for such a simple thing. Shiv says, Danny, easy 8 computer mood lighting now. Damn it. Yeah. Don't let me do with anything electronic. He says, being a live streamer. So it's a full high fleet you're collecting. I've been collecting Tyranids for many years, and as any normal person collecting any army will tell you, it gets out of hand quickly. So I've got more stuff unpainted than I have painted. But yes, I've got quite the collection. Tyranids are my main 40k love. I just like them. I like all the alien stuff in games and things like that. I just think they're fun. My favourite franchise. Sorry, I just sniffed a little bit there. That's a bit like straight down the microphone. Hang on. Still got the remnants of a cold. Told you it. Took me off my feet. Aliens is my favourite franchise. Absolutely love that film. My favourite story, my favourite novel, ever since a little child, and it gave me nightmares, still does, is War of the Worlds. If you ever read the book, it's a great book, but it's obviously it's dated, but the writing style, the language style in it is probably a little bit off-putting for some people. Some people, not everybody, obviously. But there's a lot of things in there that I love. Obviously, it's my favourite book. I'm infatuated with it. But there's a lot of inspiration bits that I take from that story to try and put into my Tyranids, like the red weed. I love the red weed. I don't know why Tyranids would have a red weed, but I've put red weed in some of my miniatures. Stop me. I don't care. Because Tyranids are into something called a traniformication. They terraform a planet, Tyranid style. Because they do. So I just thought, you know what, I'm going to do like a red weed scenario. Lots of things like that in my Tyranid army. But I don't play them in 10th because I don't play 10th. Just don't like it. We spoke about it lots on Discord at the end of last week's show. If you like it, good for you. I'm not here to like try to get anyone to not play it. If you like 10th edition, you like 10th edition. It's just not for me. It's very competitive is not the right word because, well, you play a game, you play it to compete, don't you? But it is very much chasing sixes. And I don't like that. That is a very big nutshell of a game description. It's just chasing sixes. But it just became a little bit silly. Some people say it's still very strategic and tactical. I feel that it's been a big step away from that because of, you know, the chasing sixes constantly. Basically, you always need the biggest weapon to give you the best chance of getting through the very tough armor. Because now there's been invulnerable saves for a really long time. Invulnerable saves mean that no matter what weapon you're shooting at them, he's always going to get a save. Not every game's got saves. I quite like having saves. Just allows you that little chance, that little interaction to see if you've got what it takes to just stop whatever it is that's hitting you. And sometimes it doesn't work, but an invulnerable save will always be there, because if you've got a big anti-tank gun or whatever, it's going to go right through regardless. But an invulnerable save, for whatever reason, could be a force field, you know, got to stop it. But now there are guns, weapons, etc. in the game that stop that. So it's not exactly an invulnerable save. So you're always looking for the weapon that stops that from happening, or gives you the biggest chance of getting past the thing. So you're always looking for the best armor. You're either looking for a 6 because that's the weapon, that's the roll on your weapon that's gonna get you through their armor save or invulnerable save, whatever. So you're always looking for the armor to stop that weapon. So you're always looking for the weapon to stop that armor, so on and so forth, and it just becomes tiresome. Yes, Shiv gently pets Horus Heresy, which has not done that. Now, some people really like that, and I bet there's a lot of tournament players out there who really like it. And that's fine. That's cool. It will change at some point, and it'll probably go back to something that I like a bit more. Well, I haven't played Tyranids for a little while. Now, I do like to keep up to date with the rules, because I've always said if you like find a rule set that you like, and I like 8th. 8th was really good. 9 was okay. 9 and 7 were also all right. If you like a rule set, play with them. You bought the book. You don't have to update it. As long as your group and your friends like to play that same rule set. If you found a rule set that you guys like, play with it. Thing is that if a new model comes out, a new unit in the game comes out, probably not going to be in your old book, is it? So you do get kind of forced into it. Now, I don't think that is a tactical play from the company. The game's got to evolve and add new stuff as it goes. It could be a tactical play by the company. You ain't ever going to stop that though, are you? So, let's get on with it. Do you? So yeah, so I do like to stay current with the rules. But I do like one-page rules at the moment. I wasn't going to say it. But one-page rules, man. They rule. Now, they aren't Warhammer. So if you buy the one-page rules, it's on one page. Double-sided. It's on one page. You're not going to have all the lore that makes Warhammer so exciting and rich. But if you know it, you don't need it, do you? But it is a cracking way to play the game. It's extremely simple, but it's also extremely tactical. I can't explain how. But I can tell you about some of the experiences that I've had. I've only played a few games, and I've loved all of them. I've been beaten, and I have also beaten. That was a really bad way of saying I've won and lost. I played against Kez, who normally joins us in the live chat. I don't think he's with us this evening. If you are watching this, hi Kez. Me and Kez played it a little while ago, and we had a great time playing it. And the one thing that really stands out to me above all the other things is that there's big units that you could take, like dreadnoughts or tanks, but dreadnoughts specifically are really scary. You don't stick around long enough to see if you can get that lucky shot off, and you know it's going to need to be a lucky shot. You know that you need. You're not just going to stand there and go like, I'm going to fire this gun, and if it doesn't succeed, then maybe I'll lose a couple of guys, but I'll get the shot off eventually. You run. It's like the Matrix of agents. You see an agent, you run. You run your ass off. Because dreadnoughts, man. Oh dear. The dreadnoughts are so scary that I didn't want to take on the dreadnought with my own dreadnought. It's scary, and that's how it should be, man. There's always something about the hobby that bugs people. No pun intended. Yes, it is. And you're absolutely right, though. Like every version, there's something that someone's not entirely keen on, and yeah, it's just unfortunately this time enough for me to not want to buy the rule set and play it with all my friends. But at the moment, my friends are going generally through a phase where we're not playing Warhammer 40,000, and again, that's fine. So I'm just not gonna. It's just a lot of reasons to not go and do it, isn't it? Because it costs a lot of money. Because you buy a new rule set, you've got to buy all the new codexes. You have to buy them all, but you have to buy the ones that are relevant to you and racking up. So I'm just using the time to crack on and paint mine. Now I don't just have Tyranids. I have Space Marines as well. I have just painted all over the areas that I don't want to paint with this guy, so I'm just going to have to go back in and wash that off. I've got Space Marines as well. I've also got Dectus Mechanicus, and I love them. Got a few guys over here that are just waiting to have some their bases finished, but did those ages ago. And I'm trying to get everything just kind of wrapped up and finished before I go to recon. More on that later on. Rub off now. Come on now. Paint that right on there. Let it want to come off. Can you see that little white dot that's just gone right into his arm? Oh my goodness. Oh, that is going to have to be a little bit of chemical to get. So here's a little trick that I was taught by Luke. Now, Luke doesn't watch the show so much anymore. He's got his own life doing his own things. But Luke was the guy who helped design my Discord server. And, you know, it's just been a supporter right from the beginning. Luke said, airbrush cleaner, neat. I actually even got anything in here? There we go. I only need a drop on the tabletop there. You got to be really careful with this because this is essentially just 99% isopropyl alcohol. I think it maybe contains a small amount of lubricant for your airbrush, perhaps. But just a dab of it over, especially paint that's just kind of gone on. If you're struggling to remove it, be careful because you will work your way right through to grey plastic. It's enough just to lift a mistake, like an eraser, and then just agitate gently. If you've got washes and things like that, they're going to be the first things to come away because they're so much more diluted. Perfect crime. Thanks, Luke. Cheeky little trick like that. These paints dry so quickly sometimes that it's really hard to kind of keep up. Make sure you wash it all out of your brush, because otherwise you're going to be putting cleaner into your paints, and it's just going to act like a very aggressive thinner at that point. And then carry on painting. And it'll evaporate, so if you've got a little bit left on your model, just leave it. It's fine. People talk about all the different types of things that they, all the different versions of the rules that they like. 7th, 6th, 5th edition codex to hand. Vehicles have armor values. Yeah, love it. Dreadnoughts laughs in the storm hammer. Yeah, man. Just imagine if a dreadnought was scary. Imagine how scary some of the really big tanks are going to be. Just even the tanks, man. But you know, in the lore, dreadnoughts should be scary, right? And they became laughable in some versions. The rules, and they shouldn't be. They should be a beast. Back when the game was a skirmish game, you would have maybe a couple of Space Marines, if you play Space Marines, obviously. Otherwise, why would you be having Space Marines? And you might have like a tank or a dreadnought as a centerpiece to it all, to kind of be your main focus. Got my commander, got my Space Marine tactical squads, maybe I've got a assault squad or something, and then you go, got a dreadnought, and you go, a dreadnought. And it really came back with that sort of feel, and some. If I remember right, in the small games that I played with Kez, was it actually able to take out the dreadnought? Anyway, I did some damage to it, but there's other stuff to do, like running away, live another day, and then I've lost the game. Because dreadnoughts, man. This little bit in here is tricky to manipulate the model enough to get in there. Yep, got that all over the wrong bit as well. Oh, what a nightmare. Right, clean the brush off. Let's do it again. Hopefully this time with some water. Okie doke. Better, didn't it? So now what I want to do is I just want to get in these little creasy bits over here. I'm going to use two different pinks just to add a little bit of variety in colour. I have a tendency of overthinking things sometimes, and I'm just going to try to not let it eat me away. But basically I'm using this softer pink with the crimson as a muscle fibre. I'm using the stronger pink, which is Volupus Pink contrast paint, as a weak spot thing. And I'm going to put it on the tendons just to make it look a bit more brighter and cheerfuler. That's kind of it, really. And you know what? Even though I'm painting the same model time and time again, it's nice to be doing something a little bit different on it. Sixth is also where Terminators lost their 3+ 2d6 save. The World Eater Terminates lost their 2+ on 2d6 saves. Yes. Didn't they go back to it? No, they didn't, did they? They just went down to a 2d6. I'm okay with that. Like, it obviously made them quite a bit more likely to die. But, you know, rolling dice leaves it up. Streamlines things, maybe makes things more consistent. Like, I'm okay with it because they got a 2+ save with an invulnerable save. So if the weapon was good enough to go through their armor, they're always going to get a little something. But in the new rules, you can try and find a weapon that will go right through their invulnerable save as well. And it just bugs me. So you can see at the moment all these white spots on it essentially. They kind of stand out a little bit like a sore thumb. Maybe makes it look a bit clumsy, but that'll soon blend away into the general colour scheme, just like these pink bits do. It will stand out, but it won't be so like poignant, if you like. So yeah, again, if you think it looks a bit garish, Danny, trust the process, man. Now, back when I was playing Tyrannies in 3rd edition, when the Red Terror came out, one of the best things I did back then, playing around different colours, is I made the Red Terror red, obviously, as the title might suggest, but I painted the inside of his mouth, which was quite large at the time. I painted it blue, and ever since then, I've always tried to paint the interior of my Tyrannies' mouths blue, and then throw them on the floor, obviously. But the blue I never really got good at it, and it stands out too much on the yellow Tyrannies that I paint nowadays. So yeah, I've had to try and move away from blue mouths. My question is there anybody out there who's tried to do, like, I suppose, alien mouths and just do them different colours? Because we normally just do like reds or pinks and things like that. I'm probably just going to do the inside of this guy with Volupus pink, like this colour here. Or maybe I'll do it this colour and make his tongue a bit brighter, or maybe I'll make it more purple. I've always struggled with mouths. You can see that I've got on the Trigon, it's got a red mouth but a purple tongue. That looks quite good. But a Tyranny's mouth is kind of like a focus point of its character. It's his facial features, literally. So, you know, you kind of want to do a little bit of something cool with his mouth. What would you guys do? Or what have you guys done? There is so much chatter going on in the live chat today, I can't even keep up with it. Sorry, guys. Hope you're having a nice time. We'll pick up on the occasional comment. When you had more unique dreadnoughts. What do you mean by more unique dreadnoughts? Let's pick on that thread a little bit. I love dreadnoughts. They're one of my favourite units in a Space Marine army. I just like the whole concept of them. I like the design of them. I like a Redemptor dreadnought, you know, as much as the next man, but the classic, iconic dreadnought is where I stand. I just like that old school dreadnought. Fully magnetized. I could swap out as a sun. As cannon, whatever I want. But everything. The only thing I haven't got, I forgot that I had it when I was painting it, is a multi-melter, but I do have one. 2 more armpits to go. Just going to wash my brush out because this paint does dry quite quickly, becomes quite claggy even while it's watered down. And I'm watering it down with almost every drop, so I take a little scoop out from the pot, put it on the side, and then wet my brush. It's almost like a 40-60 water to paint. I'm not saying it's Shiv, but I know I've read it. Stick a chainsaw in it, only because it's eating everything else. It's just the hand of your Space Marine sticking out of it. His mind's always in the gutter, Adrian. Don't mind him. For all those kids watching, I'm sure Shiv's just talking about that Nickelback song. That's all it is. Perfectly innocent. Shiv's gonna give me a lecture about Nickelback now. Well, I have got the sniffles. I do apologise for sniffing down the microphone so much. Hawkins, loosen up all the snot. Try and keep myself in shot today. I'm a bit out of frame, aren't I? So sorry. For those of you that are new, just tuned in, maybe this week or last, I am good-ish at being a, streamer. I know what I'm doing, I think. One of those days where I wish I didn't put the arms on. I think I say it every week, but I wish I didn't put all the arms on the miniature. Didn't actually glue them. I was thinking, oh, probably will be easy. Don't glue together. I just dry fit it, but he fits so snugly. Trying to take him apart, I actually snapped one of the pins just inside in the joint. It's got like a couple of just like little spikes that kind of just slot into little holes, and yeah, I snapped them clean off. So yeah, that was just the first one I tried to get off. That took me ages to try and do it as well. And I was doing it on the sofa downstairs in my living room. And my partner, who really doesn't know anything about this, I was just kind of struggling the way. I went. She was like, "You just broke something, haven't you?" I'm like, "No, yes, I have." So I thought, I'm not going to try and take it apart. So if you haven't made a Screamer Killer yet, and you're thinking about painting it, and you're thinking, "Oh, shall I not put the arms on?" Don't put it together. just don't. Save yourself the agony. Yeah, live chat's getting spicy this evening. I'm going to engage with you guys. I'm not going to do it. I can hear through my noise cancelling headphones. I can hear my cat outside the door. He's not allowed in here at the moment because the room is so messy, because I've been having a bit of a sort out. It's really messy. He's not allowed in. So if you can hear him, honestly, I don't torture animals, and I'm just sorry. All right. He makes it sound like it's way worse. I really want to go in there. Try to be careful to not get this colour on the rib bones here. And frankly, I think that's good enough, you know. Oh, trickier than I wanted it to be, but done. Let Dax in. No, negative. He will destroy everything. But he will win over the hearts and minds of the audience. Sorry. No, not today. God, yeah, still got a bit of a cold. Let me just get a bit of water in there. Right, let's get some shades on. So, Carabao Crimson, give it a little bit of a shake. Olympus Pink, quite a bright colour, very, very different colours, very different paints. Out of This World Models and Minis. Hi everyone, stopping in to say hello. Hi John, how are you doing? For those of you that don't know John, he's from Out of This World Models and Minis. He's got his own YouTube channel. There is a link to John's channel just down there. Go check him out because he's awesome. He does his own stuff. He's released some new videos recently. I was talking just earlier on about my favourite franchise, saga, if you like, is the Alien series. I absolutely love them. The first 3, not really anything else. Specifically really the first 2, but John has made a big miniature, I think it's a 1/6 of the Alien from Alien 3, and it, like, I saw the thumbnail, John, and it looks absolutely incredible. Really looking forward to seeing that video. Go and check out John, show him a little bit of support, and subscribe to his channel because he's just a real cool gent as well. Alright, hi world. Right, so that was Volupus Pink. I don't think I want to do that one just yet. I want to use my Carabao Crimson, just giving it a bit of a shake up. Okay. And damn you GW paint pots, stay open. Thanks. So, first thing I want to do, I'm just going to go to my zero brush, not my little baby, and I'm going to do this muscle fibre here. I'm calling it the muscle fibre because I don't really think it's got a name and I need to refer to it with something. So, I'm not going to go in there crazy, but you can sort of just slap it on. Now I picked up this colour trick technique style thingy from, I think it was Duncan Rhodes painting the brains on his zoanthropes. So I used this first on my zoanthropes and I was like, oh, I like this. Started using this colour on like muscle bundles and things. Trying to work it down into the recesses against the other colours. Trying to not get it onto that yellow. It will filter that yellow, it will affect it, and it'll just look like that I've overpainted. I can't keep it in the lines. That's kind of cool. What I like about it stands out from the yellow and grey quite, but it's not like in your face. It's quite subtle. Now I'm trying to keep a uniform layer across the flatter surfaces because you'll end up with a nice sort of pinkish colour. Where it pools it goes a bit darker, and that's kind of the effect that if I see a little bit that looks like it's just kind of gone onto a flat area too thin, I just try to revisit it with a brush. Make sure that it's kind of even. I want the colour of this area to genuinely be pink. Darker recess. Just to make it look like a softer meat or tissue or whatever. Love your weak spots. Check all sides. Oh, go on too thick. Flat sec. And you can see that little bit there, right between the grey bit and the pink bit. I'm a little bit out of focus, aren't I? You can see there's actually a little bit of white sticking through, and it really stands out. So you'll really make sure you got to take this colour right to the edges. I think. And that was just because I was testing out all the different colours, like that dark pink to this kind of, just the crimson colour. And I didn't like the pink. The two different bits on there, just a little bit of variation. Even if the general viewer doesn't really see what it is that I've done, I know what I've done. I paint it for me, really, you know. Tricky bits painting underneath the arms. But you see what I mean by it kind of blends away a little bit now, softens the focus down on this colour, doesn't stand out so much. Actually wouldn't have minded these bits being in the pink colour. I think it would have made them stand out just a little bit more, make them look a little bit more vulnerable. Got that all over the ribs in there. Gone off so thin you can't really see it. Okay, that's pretty good. Stafford says, I've got to say publicly a thank you to Adrian for painting so many 15mm men for me. I never would have finished them. Oh, look at that. He's reading other messages at the same time. Yeah, you outsourced all of your work to Adrian because yeah, you got a load of 15mm soldiers for Flames of War and what a tanker. Yeah, good on you, Adrian, for helping him out there, because he's right, he never would have got around to doing them all. Someone who tunes in every week to a painting show actually like painting all that much. But if you've got loads of stuff to do, it is a laborious task, isn't it, getting through all that painting? And that's kind of why I made the show. I know that people struggle with that motivation to kind of get through the big collections that we've all amassed. I know, man, I'm just as bad. I've got 163 things to paint, but there is a new model that I want, and I'm in the shops, and I've got my wallet. I know how it goes. And you don't actually have to paint the things to play the game, so you could just be like mostly a player, but don't really have to drive, get everything painted. That's what it's all about. One of the other things I read in there, who is Dax named after? So Dax was just a cool name that came to mind when we were naming him, but it was from Star Trek. I know that Jadzia is a female character, but Dax is a symbiote who's a male, and it just seemed like the right name at the right time for Dax. Dax is a bit of a legend. Sometimes I like to come in and just sit in the studio with me and chill out. Lately, into eating boxes and miniatures and digging holes in carpets, and while this studio is in a state of let's just be honest, a state of disrepair, he's not allowed in. Okie dokie. That is all the armpits done. Lovely. Now I'm going to use a little bit of pink on those tendons. I want them to stand out a little bit more, because why not? They say 15mm men, but they're really 10mm men. Are they really that tiny? They may as well be 2mm with my eyesight. I think adult-sized hands doesn't help. Yeah. The older you get, the poorer your eyesight goes, right? I'm still able to focus, but I have to like give it a time to like focus in, and then like come away. I can't just like look away. I have to like, gently come into the world. Use my little baby brush on this one. Dax is also a Canadian rap singer, says Jeff. Oh, didn't know that. Well, the more you know. Right. So sniffy today, I'm so sorry. Right, a little bit of Volupus pink, and you'll notice there's quite a difference between the crimson that I've just been painting and this pink colour that I'm about to put on here. And the first things first is just the texture of the paint. It is, after all, a contrast paint and not a wash. So I'm just going to add a bit of water to it because it's small areas, nowhere for the paint to really run and move around in. So you've got to be quick with a contrast paint as well, because they start to dry almost immediately. Start dragging it around, it does affect the way that it dries, the texture. You'll just basically break the skin. Drag that all around. About 50-50 with water there. What I'm going to try and do is just add a little bit of water to the raised edges. Kind of break through and show a little bit more of the paler undercoat. But already breaking the skin a little bit, so do you know what? I'm going to heal that over. Yeah, okay. To the other side. What I did this time is actually loaded my brush up with water before putting it into the paint, and that seems to have made it a little bit easier to handle. Such a strong pigment. One bit of white in there that there, that's better. That would have been really noticeable if I hadn't got. Last one. Oh, it's the sound of my concentration voice again. The sound of silence. Got it over his claw. I'm all over the place, aren't I? I told you, I'm not a very good painter. Okie dokie. I think what I want to do for the mouth parts there is use this pink colour, maybe water it down quite a bit. Just find an empty bit on my palette over here. If I just chuck in a bead of water, get some of this pink, just water it down a minute so that it becomes less concentrated because it's really strong. Really break the water tension down. There we go. Get my brush out a second. Get that in there. Need more paint. Not really being conservative. I am loading the really watered down painting quite a bit. I want it to run in the recesses. I want the colour to be quite strong, but I don't want it to be so dark. Because it's such a small area, the colour could really dominate and you won't really kind of get any definition. And it has seemed to have worked. I'm just going to clear. I would like to paint the tongue just to make it stand out. Trying to be in shot today, it's really not working. Sorry. I think that's Indra Looper saying he's going to go and varnish his model. I think is that an outdoors effort? Is that why you're saying you're leaving? We're going to go for a break in just a second, man. So don't rush. Pretty good. Giggity. Right, you know what? I'm going to walk away from this for a minute, isn't it? I think. Let's look at some bits that you'd like to. I want to redo really is just some of the armpit bits there. Will you stay open? Stupid paint pot. Games Workshop, if you're watching, sort that out. Bit more colour definition. Lush. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use ride out a little bit in my paint. I need to buy some more. Really good for doing the tongues. Everything else is pink inside the mouth. Tongue will come up really well with this. It's a really strong pigment wash. Again, because it's kind of gone quite gelatinous on my in my paint pot. I'm just going to add just a smidge of water just to break the surface tension down a little bit. So I can move it around, make it a little bit more. Yeah, that's cool. Make it a bit more transparent. Don't want it to go on so opaque. Cool. Right, there we go. Oh, gee, I got quite a bit done. Wasn't expecting to get all that done before the break. Obviously, what I've got to do now is get all the talons and the claws and things done, and then we're almost done on this whole thing. And then it's just base time. All about that base, acid base, smack around the face. YouTube might stop me from that. Anyway, do you know what? Go grab yourself a grown-up juice and go and change your paint water. See you in the second half in 10 minutes. Bye-bye! welcome back. I don't have any booze in the house, so I can't have a grown-up juice. I mean, I do have some booze, but it's very strong and it needs watering down, and I don't have the stuff to do it. So, I'm going to join you, ladies and gentlemen, with a cup of tea. Happy weekend, everybody. I love it when it's a Friday. I love when we're going into a weekend. And I know the weekend doesn't truly exist anymore, certainly not in the line of work that I do. You work whatever days you have to work. But you know what? It's still nice to get to the end of a week, isn't it? And have this at the end of a Friday. So to all of you and everyone who joins me every single time, cheers. Happy Friday. I don't know what I'm going to drink. That's just come out of the kettle. Put that down. Stop it, you sausage. Right. Thank you very much for coming back. I'm having a terrible time trying to paint this miniature over the last several, what feels like years, but it's probably been a couple of months. Thank you for staying with me, even though I just keep on forcing you to watch the same old tripe every single week. Like I said, I'm not very good, and it takes me ages to get through it. But I'm liking the general stuff. There's a lot on this that I don't like. There's a lot on it that I do like, and that's okay. See, Darren's joined us. Hi, Darren. Thanks for coming along. Hope you're doing well, pal. If you're working on something this evening, I would genuinely like to know, are you having a great time? Are you having a poo time? Are you doing something really, really good? Or are you not doing so well? A little bit like me, I'm struggling. Perhaps, maybe you are. Come and tell me all about it. Share your woes, share your successes, and tell us all about the projects that you've got going on. If you want to take pictures of your projects, you can stick them up on Facebook, on Discord, because I'm on those two channels as well. And you also can see some of my stuff on Instagram as well if you want to. You can share your work over at Facebook so that we can all see it. And I've just seen that Jeff, that's my dad, has just posted up a picture of his Iranian embassy build that he's doing over on Facebook. And it says here, although I've just lost it, clever me. Where is it? It says basically he's got so many windows that he has to cut each one twice because double thickness, I assume. Now I'm reckoning that you've got 4 cuts per window. Twice for each window is 8 per window, and you said that you've got 40 windows. That's 320 cuts just to do the windows. That's a lot of window cuts, man. But it's looking really, really good. I've just lost it on my phone, on my phone. But if you want to go and check out that really wonderful build, go and check it out on the Facebook page. The links to all our platforms are just downstairs. Go and check them out. So yeah, go and put up photos of whatever it is that you're working on. If you're not a Facebook user, or you just don't know where we are, you don't want to use it, go and check it out on Discord, because you can go and put your stuff all over there as well. I wanted to talk about a couple of other people today. I was saying that normally, like, you know, if you've got a service or a business or a friend, or you know someone that's just really good and you just think it's worth a shout out, by all means come along, tell me about it, and I'll shout them out. And I do that myself quite a lot generally. However, haven't done it for a little while, and I just kind of wanted to send out some reminders. Now, links to all these guys are all down there anyway. Go and check them out. But one of the people that I wanted to shout out is Grant at Overlord Games. Don't know why I struggled saying that. Overlord Games, Grant. He's just a really nice guy, and he gave out a really nice shout out earlier on today when I put up the schedule for this week's show. And he says that I'm a really nice guy and I'm an everyman's painter. And I was like, do you know what? I'm really humbled by that, because he's right. I'm not an excellent painter. I've been painting for a long time, but I'm not very good. I just do the best I can, and that's what we should all be doing. And I really wanted to say thanks, Grant, for shouting us out like that. You should go and check out his online store. He's trying to set up a brick and mortar store. I know that he's been very successful recently in setting up a big games community. He's got a big 40k tournament going on at the moment, and you should definitely go and check him out. Facebook links, etc, and a YouTube channel, all links are just down there. Go and check him out. I get most of my models, etc, from him. I've got this Screamer Killer from him. He even drove several hours one day to come to my house and teach me and my nerd group how to play Flames of War. Just a stand-up jet. I've got the hiccups, I don't know why. Another guy I wanted to shout out was Brethren. Now, I met Brethren Games, Skirmish Games, at, I think it was the Exeter show. I live in Devon, so Exeter is a really easy one for me to go to. It's only just over an hour away for me to drive, and me and some of my friends and my dad, Jeff, in the live chat, went down to go and just see the show. And I ended up getting introduced, I think by Grant from Overlord Games, to Brethren. Now, Brethren specialise in making their own games rules. Yeah. And I'm fascinated by anyone who makes their own stuff, makes their own miniatures, or makes their own game rules, etc. And Brethren have been making their own like ancient warfare skirmish rules for a little while. Matthew Sutton O'Connor is the gentleman's name. It's written on the front of his thing. Anyway, I picked this up. This is kind of like a grab guide, like an easy guide to kind of get into the game, and it was supposed to make the wargaming process simple and fun and engaging, whilst kind of being like sort of realistic and representing the ancient warfare. I was like, ooh, I'll pick me up a copy of this to go home, and I wanted to talk about it on the show. I got talking to Matt about it, and he was like, dude, if you're going to talk about it, I'm going to send you the real book. But he didn't just send me the real rule book. He sent me all 3 of his rule books for free. And I said I was going to do a really big shout out for a little while ago. Now I remember when I got these, I gave him a shout out at the time, but I was going to like have a play of the rules and talk about them on a show, and I've just not got around to it. Life's been really throwing me a curveball this year, and I know it sounds like I'm throwing out excuses. It genuinely has. And I've still yet to play this. I'm really excited to get into it and have a little go at it. I don't really play any Ancient Warfare games, but I can still use any old model to represent it and still have a bit of a giggle doing it. But I was just really humbled that Matt went out of his way to send me copies, which you could buy on Amazon, to send me the full copies of these rule books. And I feel really guilty that I haven't actually got around to fulfilling my end of the promise. So I wanted to shout out Matt and Brethren Skirmish Games today, just to say, if you're interested and you're in the market for a new skirmish game or an Ancient Warfare game, go and check out Brethren. Please, please, please. Links down there. Also, another just a stand-up gent. I meet a lot of stand-up people. He was standing up. Brethren, go and check him out. Sick game rules. Another person who I could shout out this evening, and I probably should, is my dad, Jeff Lacey. We've been talking about his build that he's taken a photo of, stuck it up on Facebook that I was just having a look at. Purple Lion Creations, again, a link down there. Amongst so many other links as well. Like, please go and check out some of these people. But my old man, Jeff, will make you custom build terrain for any of your games. Thank you for the shout out. Please don't feel guilty. I do. I can't help it. I'm really sorry. I made a promise and I haven't done it yet. But I really, genuinely want to play. Gonna. Don't know when. But go check out Jeff, because he's my dad and he makes some really cool models. He's actually, and I know it sounds biased, like he's like one of the world's best. I sound really horrible saying it because it makes it sound like I'm just saying stuff to kind of, you know, toot the horn. Being very careful about what I said there. It's my dad. But honestly, go and check him out because he makes some wonderful stuff, and he tailor makes it bespoke to your order. So if you go like, I want a castle, I want it to look exactly like this, he'll make it look just like that, but better than you ever dreamt it. And it's really, really cool. Go and check out all of his stuff. He's got a Facebook page again, links all down there. And there's loads of other people and links and things that I wanted to go and check out. Got a dash happy modeler, says Darren. Thanks for stopping by, mate. Cheers. Nice to see you. Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, like there's so many people. This community is so big and bold and colourful. There's so much out there to go and check out. Sometimes you can get just lost in a sea of like stuff. So if you know someone or do something yourself and you want to shout out on the show, drop us a line because it's cool. Toot. Yep, not doing it. Not going down that road. Anyway. If you like what we do here at Easy 8, please give us a subscribe. It would really make my day. I want that number to go through the roof. We've taken a bit of a slump lately, and that's okay. This show isn't for everybody. Like, I get it. It's a 2-hour live stream of me talking complete nonsense, painting absolute shite. But, you know, it's all about the company. That's what this show is all about. So if you're interested, or you know other people that might be interested, come and give us a sub because it would make my day. But at least give the video a thumbs up if you wouldn't mind that, because every time you interact, it always like affects the algorithm. And we know how YouTube works. No, we don't have a clue how it works. But just hit a button and it would make my day. That'd be great. Thank you very much. Tell me what it is you're working on this evening. If you are working on a project, come and tell me all about it. Take photos, stick it up on Facebook or Discord, and I will now tell you about what it is that I'm going to carry on doing. Now I'm going to take you to the workbench. And here's why. I want to talk about the base. I'm almost done on this fella. I've got a few other details and stuff that I want to do. It'll be finished in the next day or two, which is really exciting. But I want to do the base. It's a 90mm base. The 90mm base has come out with, I think, the Dawn of the Primaris Marines, because not that one Marine goes on there, but the new Dreadnought goes on it. So this guy also gets the 90mm base. Yeah, nice big base means I can do something really exciting, really cool with it. Now, I was talking just earlier on, I'm just going to clear my table. about like some acid pools and things that I've done in the past. Now here's a Brood Lord model that I made. This, if I just give him a bit of a dust off. Here we go. I did this one several years ago and I was really, really pleased with it. And I made an acid pool base. Sick, innit? It's all shiny. Got loads of layers, loads of depth. It just looks like acid, right? And the idea was that it gets darker the deeper it gets. So around the shallows where things might be kind of just going into it, you could see that, you know, it was lighter. When it goes away into the darkness, it's deeper. Now when I was painting it, I was thinking maybe I want it to go like it becomes more opaque the thicker or deeper it becomes, so it would become brighter in that way. But I thought it just looked better this way. And then I got a little ripper and I cut him in half with a little plastic saw. And then stuck him in there, made it like he was swimming through it, because rippers, they eat loads of stuff and then just throw themselves like suicide style into the pools of acid. And I loved it. And I got better at it. And I thought that was a really good first go. And as I promised just earlier on, did a couple more on my zone stroke models and I got the colours brighter. Made it look really cool. And the more and more I do it, the better I will get at it. Now, I've never really managed to get like all the earth bits right on my miniatures. I wanted it to look like soil and rocks that have had every ounce of organic material or nutrients that they could ever get out of it all. So even when the dirt becomes grey, that's what I was trying to get, get across, but never really managed to do it. I'm still working on it, and I can get back over my old models and just kind of like paint things up as I go. But what I was really happy with this is the vibrancy of that green against the rest of the contrast on the model. You can see my crimson on the brains, a little bit of purple for the veins in the brains, creating the membranes. Stop it. I didn't want to do every single model like that, so I got a unit of 3 of these zone thrips. So this one here's just got some ground. On this one here he has it as well. Now all that is just about 5 or 6 different green colours, really watered down. I put a base of a dark green down and then just work my way up. As closer I get to the edge, the more vibrant it gets, yeah? And then just about 63 million layers of gloss varnish over the top. I am going to try it with the UV resin. So what I want to do, what I wanted to do on the Trigon, but actually despite the size of the base, there's actually very little space to be doing anything really on there of any, of note. Is I wanted to do it on the Screamer Killer, because look at all the space. There's loads of real estate on that base to do something, to sculpt a really big pit. Now what I've done with all my other ones is I've just put like a little bit of basing material on there and just kind of painted a shoreline up to it. That's fine, that's cool, but I want to build like a proper puddle, because the whole point of their acid puddles is that it gathers wherever there's a substantial amount of liquid could gather. But really, Tyranids eat a load of stuff, chew it all up, turn it into pulp, biomass they call it, and then they're going to spit it out of these acid pits, which then giant spore chimneys, one's 3D printed right here, spore chimneys, they sit at the base of the acid pool, soaks it all up like a giant straw, hive ships come along from orbit, giant tentacles, onto the end, and then suck it up like a giant straw and move on to the next planet. Hi Steve, how you doing, pal? Thanks for coming along. Hope you're doing well. What I wanted to do was to have a big puddle, like a really big pool. Now, I'm going to probably sculpt it out of green stuff, Magisculpt, whatever it is that I've got lying around. I think it's Magisculpt. I was having a little look through my terrain store. Now, I know I've got loads more bits and pieces in a box somewhere, but I've got a couple of bits. The first one I've got is this really big smoke crater. Some of you in the live chat might recognise this one, because I got this from the Off-World range from Purple Line Creations. My dad sculpted this. This is Jeff in the live chat right now. This was sculpted, and then a silicone mold was taken, and this is a solid resin thing. And you can buy these through Jeff on the online store, or just by giving them dropping a line on Facebook if you want to. They might be limited stock, because I don't know how good condition the molds are, but they are really cool. I was thinking something like that, but smaller, obviously. But then I thought 90mm base. It's not that much bigger, is it? It's not, but it is a little bit too big, especially when you consider that it's going to be something like this. It's going to be quite difficult to try and fit it all on. It'd be quite dominating. So I thought something like that, but a little bit smaller. Now I know that when my dad made these, they came in lots of different sizes. This was the largest of this type, and I couldn't find any more in my supply. And then I found this one. Now this one was a little range that the old man was trying to do. We were coming up with designs. Me and him were sitting down to kind of create different types of damaged craters. If I was to drop a wash in there, you see all the detail in it, but you can see there's like different. It looks like one of the Yellowstone pools, doesn't it? That's kind of the idea I'm getting there. And I could put like an acid pool in that one. I thought, ooh, that's closer. In it. Look at the size of that. That's just over the surface size. And actually, he could probably stand on that one. But I'd have to break it off because these are all going to get damaged if they just stick it off the sides eventually because it's really quite thin resin. Even though it is really strong resin, it is thin. It will get broken. So I could shave it down so that it matches sort of size of the base there. But then it would just terminate roughly and it just wouldn't look very good. When actually I could just use that as a really nice piece of standard scatter terrain. So I'm going to save that one. Now I know we did lots of different sizes of these, so I'm going to have a good look through my box of bits and pieces, and I might find something a little bit later on that I can sculpt a really nice acid pool on there. Or I might swing down to the Purple Iron Creations workshop tomorrow, because it's just 10 minutes away, being my dad and all. So fire up the old moulds, Dad. Let's see what we got. And yeah, so that's basically my plan with this one, is to design a really nice acid pool that is going to be stood over, and I can have tentacles coming out of it. I can have little creepy crawlies kind of swimming around in it. I could do some features of the red weed, because when I was saying earlier on, like the Tyranids create tyrannoformication. They create their own plant structures, even just like they like just breathe oxygen, like, you know, loads and loads of oxygen into the atmosphere, makes everything grow really, really huge, so that when they come to eat it, there's more stuff to eat. Yeah. So even just the normal plant life on a planet kind of goes over the top. So I always thought that there'd be a mixture of like normal flora from the planet, and then you know, kind of a weird amalgamation of Tyranid flora that would go along with it. And I just imagine the red weed concept being like an alien creeper that just kind of you know, so pervasive, it just kind of creeps over the whole planet on a really fundamental plant level. I just like the idea, do you know what I mean? So just lots of red creeper vines, really nice stark contrast against the yellows and the greys that I use, just to make it look a little bit weirder. So I found some stuff a couple of Exeters ago. We went to a games convention, and in one of my little hobby drawers over here I've got loads of plant bits. So I've got some aquarium plants or whatever. They're really cheap, nasty plastic plant bits, but you just cut the occasional leaf off and paint it red or whatever, stick it down. Lots of different weird alien fronds and stuff. And I also found red gorse, and that's really cool because it's the colour that I need it to be straight away. I can just stick a whole clump of red gorse down. I'd have to pull everything out of this drawer to get in there to show it to you. But we know what the gorse stuff looks like. It's just a weird clothy material that looks like an organic material. I've stuck it down some of my gaunts before, and it looks really cool. So I've got lots of things to do with the base. I don't really want to be going on too much longer on this miniature, so I'm just going to see if I can sculpt a really nice pool, put some acid in it, as you do, and then yeah, from there. Now, before we got started earlier on, Kindred Lupus was asking me about all the other Tyranids that I've got in my collection. Well, here are some of my zoanthropes. This was when I first really started getting into the really eccentric highlighted lines. I really like this. I'm a little bit better at it now, and you can see my chimneys were very, you know, the spore chimneys on the back are very different to what I've done now. And I started using different gradients of highlights, etc. I've got to find a middle ground because it takes such a long time to do. But this is really comic booky, and I really liked it. It was really pop arty. Stands out. I like. I've got loads and loads of gaunts behind me as well. This is one of my Hive Guard. Playing around with filters on the yellows to try and do something different with it. I was playing around with like electrified tendrils, made them slightly glossy, just kind of make them stand out a little bit. Again, you can see I started playing around with different gradients of greys and blacks on his back, but the carapace is still quite basic when you compare it to Edward here. Much more detailed. So yeah, I'm evolving all the time, and I've got to find a happy ground where I can pull it off as fast as something as this one went, but as nice as looking as Edward. I've also got my gaunts. This is the one I was trying to find earlier on. You can see I've got a little bit of crimson around the holes in his wings. It's a really hard effect to do because for some reason Carroburg Crimson dries partially instantly. As soon as you put it down, it creates an immediate coffee ring when you put it down, and it does my head in. I cannot stop it from doing it. So I put this through the airbrush, and very, very gently, it took me ages, kind of just got like a bit of an edge just around the edges of the wings where like all the nicks and cuts and the holes and things are, and that took me ages to get that, because it's really easy to go too heavy with a Citadel wash through an airbrush because it's just coloured water. So yeah, that one there looks a little bit more different to the other ones that I've done, because when I was painting these with a little bit of sepia on the wings, again it's just the Screaming Skull colour with sepia wash put over top of them. It looked too yellow. It was too close to the yellow colours. I don't mind it when it gets a bit heavier in some spots. It's supposed to be random and organic, so it was a second layer to get this darkness. A little bit of red around the tears. Now you can see that on miniatures this small that I don't really bother going so detailed on the grey bits because there's so many of them, so small. It's just a couple of greys, a little bit of a highlighter, some like edges and whatever. I'm not going to go crazy with it all. And the flight stands on these ones, I don't like them. I don't like the GW flight stands, and I also don't like the fact that they're all the same level. When you've got wings like that, they take up so much space on the table. I want them to be varying heights so that you can crowd them together a little bit more. And just here, I've got a load of dowel, which is acrylic dowel. I think that's like 2.2 millimeters wide or something. And then I just stick them onto the old clear bases. So yeah, I can have them at whatever heights I want. I can have them 2 feet off the table if I want. They will fall over. Loads of Tyranids. I love them. Tyranid is my first love. All right. What else have I got down there? When I first really started playing around with the yellow as a colour scheme, it's the original Biovore. And this is that awful technical paint, the Necrons. And it took me a really long time to get this effect, and then I decided I didn't really want that colour on my Tyranids anymore in the acid pools and things. So I started hand painting my own acid colour. It came out really well on this guy. I like the hands and face of this model, but I don't like the rest of it. And now the new Biovore that came out is just amazing. So I'm going to revisit the whole Biovore at some point. You can see like just the spiky. Look at the details on that flat bit there. It's just dark grey with some like teeth almost painted into it. It just looks terrible. Now compare this to this. I feel that I've come a really long way. This has been a couple of years between the two, and I've only painted a few different batches of models in that time. But even though there are parts on this model that I really don't like at all, the arms, there are parts of it that I really do like. And it's really important, just to, even if you think that you're not doing very well or you're not getting anywhere, you just need to keep on going. So just, if you're not painting, you're not progressing in any way, shape. So yeah, just be happy, man. Right, it's going to take me an age to get these back in the box. We're on air, and that's not what we're here for. So I'm just going to pop these over here now. Guarded by my giant space marine in the corner. Excuse me, I've got a snotty nose. Hopefully, the right microphone was cancelled there and you didn't hear me just snort that one back. Help you, Corey, tomorrow with some architecture degree modelling. Need some tips. Shout, man, go for it, because you've got me on the show and you've got the right people in the live chat. So get asking questions if that's what you need. That's exactly what this show is all about. Share your ideas, share your thoughts, concerns, problems, everything. Share your money with me. That's how long I've been yapping. That tea is now tepid. Right, back to Edward here. So I popped a little bit of purple on his tongue earlier on, and it doesn't stand out enough from the rest of the mouth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with a little bit of a dark violet colour. Now I've got this colour here, Hext Lichen, I think will be a decent colour. I've also got Alien Purple, which I think could be a good colour. Okay, cool. I'm going to use it as a highlight. I want his tongue to be purple colour. Thanks for showing him. You're welcome. Thanks for asking. I like to show my stuff off sometimes. Right. Basically, I want a violet-y, purpley tongue. So, pick up the paintbrush down. Got it. That is a nice violet colour. Even though it's an airbrush colour, I'm still going to water it down a little bit. Because actually, like, violets are really powerful pigments. What I want to do, paint the tongue. Oops, move the microphone. There we go. The colour is so dark that I can't actually see the bristles of my paintbrush against the area that I'm painting. Because I put it on like autofocus sometimes, and other times I put it on standard focus. Let me put it on autofocus. Autofocus never works. There we go, that's a bit better, isn't it? So I've got a red mouth, and I've got a purple tongue, or a violet tongue. What I want to do when that dries in just a minute is I'm going to use Alien Purple as a highlight. Just run it down basically the sides of the tongue and on the tip of the tongue. Hopefully it will just bring that colour out a little bit. Now if that doesn't work or it's too hard to do, I can paint the whole tongue in that colour, make a wash of that violet, and then wash it so it just becomes purple against the red. That is the plan. Like I say, my mouths and tongues that I'm painting my Tyranids, I just find it very difficult. I've never really been able to dial in on that perfect thing. I also want to do some blue eyes. Blue eyes really stand out on these minis. So, I like magic blue. Got some nice big eyes for a Tyranid. Tyranid eyes are generally really quite small. These are about half the size of Space Marines. But I think they'll stand out really nicely. What I could do is paint these blue, just a nice bold eyeball basically. And then if I want them to stand out a little bit more, I could just drop like a little bit of black wash in and around them, basically eyeliner, and it really makes the blue pop. But in order for that to really work, I would like a little bit of white in there. Now the best white to use here is white ink. Needs a really good shake. I put some agitator balls in there a little while ago. Now this white ink is really opaque, as where a lot of inks are transparent or semi-transparent. Oh, that is sealed tight. Oh, that does not want to open. Might need to use a little bit of the white paint for this. Oh, there we go. Not only is he good looking and a great painter, he's also immensely strong. Dusty bits. Yep, all over my miniatures box. Brilliant, love that. I am going to put a little bit of thinner with that because it comes out quite thick. The reason I'm using ink is because it holds its form with thinner and it's really, really opaque even when you do thin it down. And what I'm looking for is a really opaque wash that will cover the eyes really easily. I don't want it really, really thin down. I don't want it to like run into the creases or whatever. And what I'm going to do... Oh, I've got a little bit of purple left in my brush. Let me just wash that out. Keep calling violet purple. Violet is not purple. A totally different colour. Adrian's got to go. Take care, chaps. The Hound is demanding the evening stroll. Try to post some pictures later. See you all next week. See you later, mate. Take care. Thanks for stopping by. Have a lovely week. Be safe. Okay. Oh, perfect. I really like those eyes as they are. That's kind of cool, isn't it? Maybe I should start doing all my Tyranid eyes white. That really stands out, doesn't it? Really like that. If I was to drop a little bit of eyeliner in and around there, I think they'll come out really, really nice. What do you guys think? I'm also going to do the teeth white as well. Now I have tried like staining the teeth to make them not look so pearly white in the past with like sepia and things, but they're such a small detail. They blend away into the yellow and they just look yellow, so I don't do it anymore. I just make my teeth white. Keep it simple. Yeah, keep them white, he says. Keep them white. Alright, do you know what? I think we've got a new colour scheme here, lads. Now what I will do, I'll come in with maybe a bit of black or a bit of Agrax, which is dark brown wash, just in between the teeth. Up some definition. over thinned it a little bit, so I might have to come in and just do a second. How my brush? I have to come back in and do a second pass in a second. That's all right. Brush. Ah, go away. Face is really starting to zing a little bit now, isn't it? Yeah, I like it. Who says Tyrannus don't have a dental plan? At least it needs braces. Okie dokie. Right. Let's sort that out. How very dare you. Then we're going to play around with some staining on the claws. Really see the character really start to come out on this guy now. Yum, yum, yum. Where is it? Screaming Skull. Check it over all the doors, maybe over the excellent. Yeah, let that dry a second. Oh, white. Seraphim Sepia, one of my favourite washes. A really nice subtle brown colour. Take your time. By Trigon, I've got Screaming Skull, Seraphim Sepia, just graded out a little bit so it gets heavier the further back it goes. What I was trying to do on here was create a nice little line of definition between the grey and the white. And I messed it up underneath. Looks a bit rubbish, doesn't it? So that is me trying to put Agrax Earthshade on, and Agrax is several grades darker. It is a really strong, dark, cold brown. Seraphim Sepia is quite mild, light and warm. See the difference in here. If I get it right, you can see that it's quite nice on this claw. I like that. That's good. Down here, I sort of got it right. Yeah, works really well in the deeper recesses there with the Agrax and everything else is the sepia. Here, yeah, I messed that right up. Didn't get it right on those, especially on the inside there. Didn't get that right at all. I should be quite slap happy with it. You can see it looks terrible, but you know, learning processes, right? So. The brush. Go to. It needs a bit of a washout. It's got the soap in it still. We are pretty much at the end of the show, so if there's stuff that you want to talk about, fire away. You want to be talking about more about your architectural plans for tomorrow morning? Hit us up. If you want to send messages through Facebook, whatever, please do. conversation carries on after tonight. Now, I'm also going to be on Discord for a little while after the show. So if you want to come and join me over there, you can join me on a live video chat. You can join in with just audio if you want to. Some people just like to join in just typing. Whatever works for you. So yeah, if you've got questions or whatever, come on over. Rightio. Size 1. Holding it like Voldemort holds his wand. Ooh. Yeah, I recently watched Harry Potter. Looks great to my eye, Untrade Eye, says Steve. Thanks very much, really appreciate that. It just looks a little like someone had some thick brown paint and just went and didn't feather it out towards this area over here. Just needed to not be so black happy, basically. So, when I load my brush up, I'm not going to have it so it's absolutely sopping. But you can see that it is quite full. And I'm going to start on this arm again. I put that. Otherwise, a little bit of space, and here we go. So, a really, really simple transformation about to occur. I like to make sure that it gets into all of the little recesses. So you can see along here it's been sculpted into it as a series of little like dots or holes or bumps or whatever. I make sure it fits into. I get it right up against the edge of the grey without actually going onto the grey, because if I don't, I'll be left with a little white dot, and I do that. Make sure there's no pooling other than where get like a really big coffee stain, just literally just drag it away. Now the washes will be easier to do this with. You'll have a bit more playtime than contrast paints, which by the time I've already put that down is already starting to dry. It'll break the skin and it'll drag it around and it'll get away with that. What I want it to do is to be heavier at the base, but right now what I'm just doing is I'm just changing it from ivory white colour, a kind of a tarnished bone. And later on, with a little bit of dry brushing with the original bone white colour towards the end, making it more heavier and make it look like it goes paler the further out it goes. Okay, that's one claw done. Compared to not claws done. You can use thinners or mediums, like mediums, help with velocities. You can add water if you want. If you add water, what's going to happen is you'll break the surface tension down. You won't get so much of a filter. What's happening here is I'm getting a filter is where it affects the colour underneath it over a larger area, like what's happening right here. A pin wash or a recess wash is where it gathers into little pools. If you break the surface tension by adding water, it will run away from the flatter edges and into those recesses, because it doesn't want to hold on to itself so much. I might be teaching some of you here. Okay, because like I said, it's not a tutorial show, you know. Where do all the calculators go? They just die. Ugh, love that program. See, if you just let it pool into one area, what's going to happen is you're going to have that really hard edge, just like I was talking about the Agrax on Bygone model. So if you see this, start to see it pooling, but you want it to pool there, but you don't want a hard edge, you've got to learn just to sort of feather the edges out, drag them in, but Don't drag it over paint that's already started to dry. We're going to break the surface. We're going to peel it. Having definition like this, where you can see that filter's really starting to pool into the pore shape here. When I come in with a dry brush later on, it will pick out the edges and make it look sharp and bladed. That is really cool. If I dry brush that with the bone white and then even a little bit of white as well, it's going to stop it from blending away with the yellow so much and really pull it out as a bone colour. That is really, really cool. I'm really happy with that. Now, Army Painter first started off by doing all sorts of different flesh washes or like dips. Just get your whole miniature, stick them in a pot of the dip and then just shake it off quite aggressively. Now they do also actually do a pack of either all of their washes or a good assortment of their range of washes. They do dark tone, mid tone, light tone, so sepias and things like that. They've also got some crimsons and things. I was having problems with my crimson, so I was really thinking about picking up the Army Painter set. Have a play around with, so I can experiment with all these sorts of techniques. Get those from on to overboard. To see how the different work against each other. Totally different the way that they behave. Good for any kind of tea staining here. Too heavy, just want to be aware of it. Now it's probably a little bit too late to change it on these ones. If it does start to do it quite rapidly, really nice effect stuff. If I left that would dry really harsh, so yeah, try and make sure that a really good way of just getting rid of some of that heavy staining is just to get your brush, if it's not loaded right up, just dip the end of the brush into that pool and just use the capillary from your bristles just to pull some of it, and it will dry a little bit paint. Quite good. And obviously still got some other bits and pieces to do, still got his hooves to do, some spikes and things down here, but I'm going to do those in just a minute over on Discord. I want that to dry before handling it anymore because it's going to be a bit awkward. So yeah, we're really starting to pick up some pace with this guy now, and I'll probably have him finished within the next few days. Do a little bit of work on the base, sculpting and things. So yeah, it's going to take me a little bit longer, but I think we're done with this guy on this show, because let's be honest, I've been painting on it for a while now and I know it must be quite boring. This show is all about getting through your stuff, but I've got to make it somewhat entertaining as well. So if you guys are just seeing the same thing all the time, Yawnsville, right? So I'm really sorry. Anyway, do you know what, we're going to move away from here. Just have a quick catch up on the live chat, see if I've missed out anything important. I'm not reading it out just in case, because sometimes it's this time of the day that like Shiv from Table of Horrors really gets to throw in a curve, or if I read it out it makes me feel like a bit of a Bit of an idiot. Okay, cool. Lots of Red Dwarf quotes. Had a cracking evening. Thank you very much for keeping me company. Thank you for keeping me sane while I've been painting this miniature. I'm really happy with it. All in all, out of 10, a solid 6.5, maybe a 7 if I'm feeling good. I'm not today about it. Still got a little bit left to go on it. Ultimately, in the end, the plan is to do a big old stained wash over it in like a dark brown to kind of grime him down, and I might even put some splashes of blood on him just to kind of get that kind of grim dark feel in there. The whole idea with this model was to kind of be a bit more bold and a bit more experimental, just to see what that grim dark effect has on a miniature in this colour scheme. It fills me with dread and nerves. I might lose a lot of the detail, but it still might be really cool. But that means that a lot of the detail I spent time doing will just kind of be wasted effort. But it might all blend together and look really cool. It might ruin the whole thing. So we'll see how it goes at the time, right? But most importantly now, I'm just going to finish the miniature off. Make a really nice base for it with a nice acid pool. What I'm hoping for is that if it all grimes down, it will all kind of blur together, make him look kind of intimidating and kind of like gritty and realistic in some way. But blood and acid on the base would like really stand out with quite vibrant poppy colours against the otherwise grimmish looking Tyranid. I don't want to go too far with it, but I do want to kind of grime them down and see what it looks like. So yeah, exciting stuff ahead. And I'm probably going to do it with oil paints, like thinned down, rather than the standard grim, streaking grimes and things, although I've got that in abundance as well. So yes, there we are at the end of another week. I've got projects to move on to. I've got a few things that I want to neaten up before I go away to Recon, which is a show that's going to be happening on the 7th of December up by Bradford. So if you know Bradford and Leeds quite well, right between the two, there's a little town called Pudsey, and there's the Pudsey Civic Hall right there. And I went there last year. I was invited as a guest by Matt from the Pit Gaming Shop, who now runs the event. He's going to be running it again this year. I've been invited to go along again. I don't trade there, but I sit with all the traders. I set up a little table. I'm probably going to do like a little live stream, do some painting and whatever, and just kind of invite people over to kind of get talking about Easy 8, to share the name, to get it out there so that more people can be invited into the group. So if you know someone who might benefit from coming along to an online painting club evening, then let them know and share Easy 8's name. And if you haven't done so already, please do subscribe to the show, because it really makes me feel happy when you subscribe. And if you haven't already, give it a thumbs up. Go on, do that now. I'll give you a second. Off you go. Cheers, mate. Drop a comment, share it around, get some friends to come along, put up a poster at work, whatever it is that you want to do. Get a little Easy 8 tattoo. Don't do that. Don't do it. Stafford, yeah, let's get Stafford. Stafford will do it. Stafford, get an Easy 8 tattoo. Yeah, thanks for coming along and making the show what it is. It's all for you guys. It's all for me as well. It's for everybody. So yeah, it's been great. I hope you guys have got loads of painting done this evening. If you have, please do take some photos and feel free to stick them all over Facebook and Discord if you want to. You can put them anywhere you like. I don't really mind, whatever. So that I can see all of your stuff, get inspired and motivated by hopefully the really good work that you've been doing. The stuff that you post up every week is phenomenal. So keep it up, keep all your painting. And until next week, stay safe, be kind, keep on painting and get some colour on your grey. I'll see you soon. Cheerio! Really happy when I can put this model to bed. Going on too long. See you at Discord. Bye. Do the tattoo, Stafford. Do it.